Warning, this video did not turn out how I planned, so even though you're going to see me really enthusiastic about this project, just save yourself some time, skip to the end, see how bad this really went. If you have some time to kill, why not watch the whole video so you can watch my enthusiasm as it drops and see if you can find the critical mistake that I made in doing a vinyl wrap on the front grille of this. The Mustang Mach E is a pretty sweet ride, but when you're purchasing your Mustang Mach E, you've got a choice to make. Do you go the more sensible route and just buy a premium like we did, or do you go all out for the GT model? Now, those of you who have already looked at a Mach E, you know that there's two main differences between the premium and the GT. The first difference is obviously a small discrepancy in power. So this one makes about 311 horsepower with a standard range battery. If you get the extended range battery, you'll actually put out closer to 340 horsepower. But if you get the GT, you're gonna be pushing over 400 horsepower. I think it's somewhere around 450 horsepower. So that's one difference. The other difference is that the GT has a sweet black grille over this area right here. This being the premium, it has a giant blue kind of space. Now, those of you who are used to driving regular cars, this would normally be an actual grille that allows air into your radiator. This car being electric, it doesn't need that grille, so for whatever reason, they make this all body colored, which gives off the vibe that this is an electric car. Now the GT actually puts a black faux grille on here that makes it look a little more like a regular car. Now, of those two differences between the premium and the GT, the front grille not being the same is obviously the biggest difference between the two. And today we're gonna make this Mustang Mach E Premium a lot closer to a Mustang GT. And to do that, we're gonna use this, which is a carbon fiber sticker that is just, it's a roll, it's 12 inches wide and it's like 5 feet long. We're going to make a mold of our front grille. We're going to make a grille out of this carbon fiber sticker and we're gonna stick that on. Now, some of you are watching this already and you're saying, Anton, I can go online and I can buy a ready-made grille in all kinds of fancy designs and whatever. This sticker material costs about $15. Those grills online cost about $150. So I'm gonna save you like a heck of a lot of money by DIYing it yourself. I'm gonna show you how easy it is. I'm not special, I'm not like some super DIY guru. I'm just a guy who bought some stickers and has a sharp X-Acto knife, and I'm gonna give this a try. We'll see how it works. But I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I do it, and you can follow along and do this to your Mustang Mach E, or we can laugh together at how bad this looks when it's done. How's it gonna look? Well, I don't know, because obviously I've got the roll still in my hand, so I don't even know. But step one is gonna be to wash the front end of this car. We've got bug guts all over it, so I need to wash all these bug guts off. I'm actually gonna use some clay bar to clay bar it off, make sure it's good and clean before we move on to making our mold and then sticking our sticker on here. So I'll show you all of those steps. I highly recommend, if you're doing this or anything that's gonna do anything to your paint, to clay bar it first. You wanna get it as clean as possible. Clay bar is one of the only ways to do that. I've never used clay bar before. I bought a kit, again, on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description to all of the items you're gonna see today. So that vinyl sticker, the clay bar, X-Acto knife, everything you see today, I'll put links in the description so you don't have to guess what we're using here. But we're gonna pull the car outside, we're gonna clean the front end off, we'll clay bar it, and then we'll bring it back in here and we're gonna make that sticker and stick it on. While we wait for the car to dry off before we pull it back in, let's talk about what you just saw. So you saw me using some clay bar. This comes in a package. In this case, it comes in a package of 3. It's pretty inexpensive. But really, what it is a chunk of clay, for lack of a better term. It feels kind of like a putty. And you saw me break off a chunk of it. And how you're supposed to do this is you knead it all up and then turn it into a pancake of sorts. Something about like that. And then I use some of this, which is clay bar luber. Now you don't need clay bar luber, but it certainly helps. If you don't have clay bar luber, you need at least soapy water. You can put it in a spray bottle, spray it on, but that adds the ability for this to slide without catching. And really all you're doing is using this to scrub the car. It's a non-abrasive scrub, and it does take a little bit of the paint off. As you can see, I've got some blue on my fingertips now because of what I've been doing here. But it takes it down back to a smooth, nice, clean surface. This is especially important if you're sticking any kind of sticker on the car. You want to make sure you don't have any bugs under there, any chips, anything, right? So we cleaned it all off. Now, depending on how my editor edited this together, you also saw me scrubbing the hood. Now, the reason you saw me scrubbing the hood is because I actually have a clear 3M hood wrap that I'm going to put on the car today as well. That's in a different video. So if you're watching this and you're saying, gee, I really want to know how to protect that hood, I'm going to show you how we did that next. But while I was washing the car, I figured now's the time to do both so that we're ready for the next step. I'm gonna go grab the car. I'm gonna take my air compressor and blow all the cracks out so that I don't have any water anywhere. Then we'll pull it in here and then we'll get to work. So we need to make a template. We're not just gonna roll this out and start trying to cut it on the car. We're gonna use something like this. This is a masking paper used for painting. If you don't have some of this, you can use newspaper. You can use whatever you want. You just need to make sure it's tall enough. Now this is not tall enough, so what I'm gonna do is just cut it and then tape another piece on. We do not need to be very picky about it. It just needs to be attached together so that we can stick it on the car. Now when you're doing this, there's certain tapes you can use and certain tapes you can't use. This stuff, tuck tape, I strongly recommend you stay far away from tuck tape because it sticks to everything and it does not want to come off. You will wreck your car trying to use tuck tape. I might use tuck tape for this just to make sure it sticks together. In fact, I will. But when you stick it on the car, you want to use some painter's masking tape. That's ideal. So I've got a couple rolls of that as well. But we're going to use this tuck tape. And then at the car, we just want to mask this off, like so that it's stuck on here so we can get a good template for this thing. We're gonna go like this. I'm gonna see if we can get it right on the edge there. Like that. And we blew all the air, we blew all the water out, so this should stick no problem. There, so we got our top edge, and then we're just gonna use a pencil. We wanna catch that edge that's there. So I'm just gonna let the pen roll around inside that seam, just like this. Then across the top, it matches already. So then I just come back over here and follow the same line. So next thing I'm gonna do is take this off and then cut it and then stick it back on. Keep going back and forth till I've got what I think is a good pattern. So we're gonna take my sharp knife. We're just gonna cut what we traced out on the car. We want to just make sure that this is actually correct as a pattern. So just cut off the extra there, like that. Flip this around and do the same thing to this side. And we go back over here and just see how well that fits. There's that side. There's that side. Now, if we come up close, you can see this has, it follows kind of the contour of here, and it's coming around here, and then it comes across the top here, and then it follows this contour here. So this dimension is actually really good, really good. Now I'm gonna leave a little extra because once I get the vinyl cut, I can actually tuck it into these seams. So you do wanna have a little extra so you don't have any blue showing through. I'm also not cutting the Mustang out because we're gonna cut that out last on the vinyl when we stick it on. We'll be able to cut it out using our knife and then peel it or push it in. The next thing to figure out is the bottom. So now that this is in position, I'm gonna actually tape this on a little bit better so that I can start figuring out how the bottom goes on here. So we go like this. Now I've got extra paper here that I don't want, so I'm gonna cut this, but I'm not gonna cut it against the car. I'm gonna pull it out and cut it like this. That's gonna allow the paper to fold the way I need to so that this will actually fit. And I'm gonna need to tape across here too so it doesn't crinkle up on me. This is a curved surface and this paper doesn't like curved surfaces. So I'm going to go and push all the extra over there. Now my wife wanted the grill. There's a little bit of a lip here. She wanted the grill to go right to the inside edge of that. So I think I'm gonna mark my center line. I'm gonna use the camera for the center line. I'm gonna use my eyeball for the other center line. And then all I wanna do is just figure out where it starts to curl, right about there. That's where I want the lip to go to. And then over here, I want it to curl around to these edges there. So I'm gonna just mark that corner there, like that. I'm gonna come over here. So I know where the edges are, and I know where the middle is. Now, I'm gonna have a flat-ish piece across here. So I'm gonna just kind of line up that maybe, figure out where that flat spot is. And same over here, like that. And then we can fill in the blanks on the desk. Here you can see we've marked kind of the edges on everything, where I think they are. And because I marked my center line, I can actually do my design, fold this in half, and then make sure that both sides match so that I've got a symmetrical pattern. So for this next part, we're just gonna use a good old-fashioned ruler and really just kind of connect the dots and see where we end up. And then, you remember I told you we can fold it in half. Just fold it in half out sideways. Now my half was very subjective. And then I can hold it up to the light and see how far off. These corners all should line up quite well because they're all the same, right? So we can go like that. Okay, now if I wanted to, if I'm happy that lined the edges up properly, which I'm not sure if I am happy that I did, I could just go ahead and cut it. Be like, yeah, that's the design. This half is the same as that half. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna just cut it out and see. But before I do, I wanna swap out this blade because this one's not very sharp. And then we're gonna use a knife or a straight edge to cut this. Here we go. Now this is totally symmetrical. We're gonna put it back on the car. Now we have our middle point because we marked it with the camera. So if I go like that on the camera and then get that right on that edge, and I get that right on the edge, like that, then I can get the edges all locked down. Then we can see how this looks. And just like that, the front grille is done and it looks great. Or does it? Let's get a closer look at this thing. So on first glance, the outside edges actually worked really well. I'm happy with kind of how that part worked. And this part over here tied in pretty good. And when we look at it from back here, I don't know if the camera's catching it. It looks okay, but we've made a number of mistakes. Mistake number one was using the soapy water to put this on. I should have just done my best to eyeball it and then peeled and reapplied, because now there's this little bit here. It won't stick. It's fallen off, and that's not good. Now, I believe there are some products you can get that make vinyl wrap re-stick, like be sticky again. So I'm gonna see if I can find that stuff, but around this Mustang is really bad. It's really bad. Like, this is not gonna hold up. One drive down the highway and this is gonna fall apart. So I guess it's pretty much time for the lessons learned part of this video. Really, I've been at this for like 2 hours now. Part of it's been filming, so you know, maybe it wouldn't take as long, but it sucks. I really should be peeling this back off. I should not be leaving this on. I'm going to leave it on just because, but I'll probably end up peeling it off very soon because there's no way that that Mustang is gonna hold up. So lessons learned. What would I do differently? Definitely do not use soapy water when you're doing this. Just put it on dry. The vinyl will peel and reapply many times. I did end up having to use a heat gun to kind of form it around the curve because it didn't even want to curve around there without getting bubbles and stuff. So I was able to heat it up and get those to kind of shrink and to form to the curve, which was good. But I also would actually consider taking this Mustang off and then sticking it back on the outside of the vinyl, because even if I get this vinyl to stick, I don't think it's gonna hold up. There's an infiltration point for water, especially when you're like going through the car wash. It's gonna blast those seams. It's gonna peel it off. It's not gonna look good for very long. It'd be much better to take this pony off. Now, this is bolted from the backside, so you kind of have to get in behind it to unbolt it. So in a future video, we might look at how to actually get that off so that you can put the grill on properly. The guys who are selling like pre-done grills, I have no idea how they're getting that Mustang to be cut out nicely and stay stuck on. I really don't know. Possible that soapy water was really bad and it would be sticking so much better if I didn't have it. But the whole time I just had this bubble of water here and it wasn't coming out till I opened it up. And then when I heated it up to evaporate it, the vinyl started to stretch and it was bad news. It was such bad news. So thank you for watching this video all the way to here and see how bad of a job we've done. I think the principle was good. Everything right up until I applied it. That's where everything went really, really bad. But we'll see if we can fix it in a future video. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.